Hello everyone, it's your girl Lala and I'm back with another video. So today's video is going to be a review on Ready to Love episode 6 season 6. Now let's get into the video. So this episode starts off with Tommy with the men in the men's lounge. Tommy informs the men that they're now at a point where they need to start picking their backup plans. So basically the men have to start deciding on who's their plan B. So the first date in this whole episode starts with Eric and Carmen. So Eric and Carmen go on a date. They seem to be having a pretty good date. Carmen is very confident. She is extremely confident. She even says on the date to Eric, that, she knows that he wants a piece of her, and everyone wants a piece of Carmen. So, she's definitely very confident. And then she also proceeded to make a comment in regards to the other women, basically that, she was the main course and like they were the appetizer. So, these were some of the comments that Carmen made throughout the date. And I mean, like I said, the date seems to have been going, pretty well. But what I do find interesting with Carmen and Eric is that Carmen and Eric have a past. They're very familiar with each other. They know each other and everything else. So I'm kind of like, well, why hasn't Eric already pursued her, or why haven't they already explored anything other than where it is now? It's just kind of interesting that Carmen and Eric are on the show, and it's like, they already have a connection, and it hasn't been explored. And now on the show, it still doesn't seem like it's getting explored that much, because Eric is still more into Zakiyah than he is Carmen, which is also interesting because he kind of leads Carmen on in a way, because he makes a comment to Carmen, kind of like downplaying where he is with Zakiyah, when, in all reality, he's been saying like, Zakiyah is kind of like his number one. A few weeks back, he claimed Zakiyah and said that, well, he told her that, they will end up in a relationship or together, something of the sort like that. So I'm just kind of like side-eyeing Eric with how he's downplaying it with Carmen in regards to his connection with Zakiyah. But I guess at the same token, I guess you just can't put all your cards on the table, because, you can't really start claiming people, because then that can kind of get you on the chopping block. So it's kind of tricky. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I also feel like Carmen leads with like a lot of sexual like energy. Not saying good or bad. I just kind of like see that about her. It seems like in every date that she's gone on, it's kind of been like a lot of sexual energy. So, hey, let's see where things go with the two of them. If in fact, Eric ends up, selecting her, or what. We have Tina and Demetrius that go on a date. This is another date that seems to have went well. One thing I did see was, I was like, wow, when Tina came out, the girls were like sitting high, okay? They were like sitting propped up and just looking voluptuous. Go ahead, Tina. I know she has a young child that she said in her date with Wiley. So, go ahead, Tina, because the girls were sitting good and sitting high, all right? But anyway, so Demetrius and Tina have their date. And in the beginning, the date was a little rocky. Tina did seem a bit, she went in kind of a bit, kind of not blazing, but a little bit of a light blaze. She did mention her concerns to Demetrius in regards to his connections with other people, I guess, aka Sabrina. But, she did mention that, and it was as if, that was a bit of a issue for her. I can somewhat see her point, but at the same token, I think that the whole purpose of the show is to find love. So people are going to make some strong connections, and especially since Tina came in the show, she came on after connections had already been made. It's like, what do you expect? So while I kind of understood what she was saying, I kind of was like, it really doesn't, I kind of didn't, because it's like, connections are going to be made by the time you come in. And that's the whole point, number one. And number two, why are you turned off by it? Like, why are you kind of just, I don't know. Why do you feel some type of way about that? Now, I understand more if she was saying that she felt some type of way because, like, she doesn't want to come into a situation where something is kind of already solid and she thinks that there's a chance to kind of like get to know her and, and it's open to the idea of them two, when in our reality, it's like, connections are kind of finalized. Now I get it if she's seeing it from that standpoint, but I don't know. I just didn't get that vibe that it was from that standpoint. It seemed to be more or less that, she just felt like, I don't know, like connections, like that turned her off. And I don't know if it was because the whole thing with Sabrina, with like the nibbling on Demetrius' ear and like doing it in front of everybody, which kind of made it look, I guess, maybe a little more solidified. Like, this is who I'm feeling. I don't know. But anyway, by the end of the date, Demetrius was feeling Tina. So I said, whoa, hold on. You better bring your A game, Sabrina, because Demetrius done found him another young lady that he's feeling. Because remember, Demetrius didn't have anyone but Sabrina for quite some time. That's all he's had was Sabrina, actually, I believe, the whole time. So Sabrina may have some competition. I don't know. Sabrina might want to circle back to she might want to circle back to Tori. As a plan B, because we don't know where Demetrius and Tina, where that connection is going to go, which, all we could do is wait and see where that connection goes. So we'll see. So now we get to the date with Donovan and Zakiyah. I thought the date was okay. I didn't think that, that date had moved Zakiyah anywhere, like anywhere further up on Donovan's list in regards to connections or anything like that. But obviously it does, because when we get to the end of the episode, when the men go around and start talking about their connections, it seems like Donovan has a different take on his connection with Zakiyah. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. So then we have Sabrina and Donovan who go on a date. And all I have to say is, Demetrius, you might have some competition now, because they really seem to have hit it off very well. And to be honest, I really like Sabrina and Donovan together. I like their chemistry. I like their vibe. I really like them together. So I don't know. I mean, I think I might be team, Sabrina and Donovan, because I am feeling them too. But Donovan, he's feeling, he got a few women that he's feeling. So, we got to see where Donovan goes. But, Sabrina, she needs to start getting, some backup plans in the mix. Although Tori is still feeling Sabrina. So she does still have that connection. So, we know that still exists. But I don't know. I am now really liking Donovan and Sabrina together. I do. So now Carmen and Donovan go on a date. Once again, she's giving off the sexual energy that she always does. This is, I guess it's just her, because this is how she's been basically with all of the men, I believe. But it is what it is. It was really cute that Donovan got her a little birthday cake. I thought that was really cute. What was interesting was that Carmen made the comment that she's really good at going after a man. Sis, see, I'm not going to start on my rant with that, but listen, ladies, we gotta let the men chase. We gotta stop. We have to stop with this aggression and pursuit of these men. You should be available to him in regards to letting him know that you're interested. But you going after him, we gotta stop that. We gotta stop. But you know what? We ain't here for that. So I'm not gonna continue on down that rabbit hole. So moving on. So now Clifton and Zakiyah, They now go on their date. And not Clifton feeding Zakiyah oysters. I said, Clifton, I'm going to need you to back up 6-10 feet or so because, sir, you already with Joy. But, yeah, so he feeds Zakiyah an oyster. And then Zakiyah says, you like putting, or you just want to put something in my mouth. Girl, I tell you, these women are just laying it out there with the sexual innuendos and everything else. I mean, it's, it's just being laid out, but, whatever. So one thing that was interesting in this date was that Clifton had initially made the comment that Zakiyah kind of seems like the 9-to-5 type of woman or whatever. And interestingly enough, in this date, he kind of changed that perspective and that opinion of her because he, by the end of the date, he realized that she was a lot more fun and a lot more adventurous, I guess, than he initially thought that she was, which was interesting because I never took what I saw from Zakiyah, through the show. I didn't take her to be like a stuffy 9-to-5. She always seemed like, obviously she was professional about her business, but she didn't seem like, just like a stuffy 9-to-5 type of woman. I would have thought that she was the type that, really let her hair down and have fun. That's how she came off to me. So I was really, I was really surprised when Clifton had made that comment about her. But however, throughout the date, and by the end of the date, he did, change his opinion of her regarding that. So I don't know. So it's like, whoa, hold up. Are we going to push Joy to the side? Is like Clifton and Zakiyah, gonna have this, this connection now? I don't know. Because one thing that I did notice between the two of them was a lot of like sexual energy. I did notice that with Clifton and Zakiyah. So I don't know. Well, we're going to see what goes on with that. Moving on. So now Joy and Paul go on a date. And Joy is not here for the playing of the games. She lets Paul know right from the gate, listen, this is a platonic date. She's not trying to lead Paul on. She's not trying to play any games with Paul. She's letting him know from the door that this is a platonic date. That's all this is. Okay. So, and in their date, Paul asks, Joy, like what made her so comfortable or whatever, to kiss Clifton, whatever. And Joy was like, I've been dying to do it. So Joy basically is like, listen, you guys ain't had to like, pressure me or twist my arm because this is something I've been dying to do, And so, that date was pretty much a bust. She just, like I said, she just kind of was like, look, she wasn't trying to lead Paul on or play no games. She was being very straightforward, letting Paul know that this here is platonic and like, dude, you ain't got a chance. I don't see you like that. And really, I don't think anybody else has a chance, period, anyway, because I think Joy has only connected with Clifton. And I don't think that she's looking to connect with anyone else. She doesn't seem open to it or anything else. I mean, we see what happens later on in the episode, at the end with the chopping block time. So, Joy is basically at this point has made her decision, which can actually end up backfiring a lot on Joy. I hope it doesn't. I hope Clifton really stands 10 toes down for Joy because I mean, I don't know. I just have a funny feeling that, Joy being so vocal and her already making her decision about Clifton, it might be her downfall. Because if you notice, Clifton is still making other connections and he's still being open. Now, whether he's doing it to play the game and, really he's already picked Joy, I don't know. Or whether or not he's really genuinely finding these other connections, I don't know. I guess we'll see in the end. Now, Laverne and Ace go on a date. Laverne started out as being one of the guys, him and Clifton, as, the two guys that I did like on the show. As the episodes went on, I did get very turned off with Laverne just because of like certain things with his personality and how he just seems that, he just kind of like, he doesn't want to put any effort. It's just a number of different things that started to turn me off with Laverne. However, on the date with Ace, I saw a different side of Laverne. And I'm like, wow, I really like Laverne and Ace together because Ace, for whatever reason, she brings out a much different side of Laverne. Like, if you notice, like when Ace was talking, Laverne was listening. He wasn't talking over her. He wasn't continuing to talk without listening to her, anything like that. He was really engaged with her. Whereas that was one of the complaints that women had about Laverne, that, he just kind of like, would talk and talk and talk. And it was like, it wasn't really conversational because he was just kind of like, talking, and they felt that he wasn't really listening and things like that. I didn't see that with him and Ace. It seemed like he was really attentive and, he was in tune to the conversation, everything. Well, I guess that's why he done said Ace is, Jill, Scott, Michelle Obama, Oprah, everybody else all in one. Well, I guess that's why she got his attention and she's holding it, because Ace must got some type of hold on him, because like I said, Laverne was very different in his interaction and on a date with Ace. And I like it. I'm here for it. I actually do. I like them two together. I like how Laverne is with her. So let's see where that goes. Now Tori and Precious, they go on a date, and, they have their date. Basically, I mean, it was no sparks. It wasn't anything there. I don't even know why Tori proceeded with that little whack, sneaking a kiss thing or whatever. I mean, like, it was whack to begin with, and it was even whacker that he did it because there was no sparks or no connection going on. So I didn't even get that. I was like, why? Like, why even do that? And then Tori also turned me off with the whole thing about, like, the kidney smasher. And, Precious made the comment. It was like, I guess you, think you got like a baby arm or something. And I'm like, Tori, come on. Like, that's such a turn off. Like, I don't think I've, up until this point, have really been like turned off by Tori. I actually liked him a bit. I liked him a lot with, Sabrina. But, I don't know. This week, he really turned me off with that. And I don't know if it's because he felt like, there wasn't any sparks. And so, like, maybe he just didn't care. And maybe he just thought that he would just be silly. I don't know. However it goes, it was a no for me. It was a strong no, because it just was like, no one to kiss, no one to kidney smash and comment. Like, just a no. Okay. Moving on. Tori did realize that, Sabrina was his top. He realized how much he did, how much he liked Sabrina. And so he is now, I guess he's going to probably zero in on Sabrina. But the thing is that he doesn't have a plan B. So, it's great that he got clarity, I guess, on, who he wants. But I guess the mission of getting a plan B did not work because that he didn't accomplish. So we'll see. And, as we know, it can go either way with Sabrina, because now we have Demetrius already. And now we have Donovan that done scooped in. So Donovan done scooped in. So, we don't know where this is going to go. But then Donovan also has, he has a connection with 3 women, So, this season is really interesting. It's very interesting. It's a lot of connections, and it's a lot of connections that are, that can go either way. So I'm interested to see where things go and who ends up with who and all that other stuff. I'm like so interested to see that. Okay, so now of course we are where the men now are at the men's lounge, as they do, every week when it's the men's week. So they're now at the lounge, and of course Tommy is asking the number one question, who you're feeling, who you think needs to go home, and et cetera, et cetera. Here it goes. So we have, so Eric, we have, like I stated, he basically is torn between Carmen and Zakiyah. And then we have Clifton, who is now feeling Zakiyah. Still, still got Joy there, but a new one is in the mix because he's now feeling Zakiyah. Then we got Demetrius is feeling Tina, and so is Paul. He's also feeling Tina. So Donovan is feeling Sabrina. Donovan is feeling Sabrina, Carmen, and Zakiyah. Okay, he got options. He got flavors going on. All right. Laverne is feeling Ace. As usual, he seemed to put a lot of sauce on where they were. He really kind of he did a little bit much, in the men's lounge with, in regards to where him and Ace was, where they were or whatever. I mean, yeah, I think they're feeling each other, but I don't know. Like, it seems like Laverne was like overselling with that. I don't know why. I don't know what was up with that, but he definitely seemed to be overselling with that. And then we get to, while we're in the men's lounge, where basically Laverne messed around and got the men heated. He has created, all kind of sparks in his men's lounge because Laverne is basically trying to get people to basically zero in and lock down connections is what he's trying to do. But see, Laverne, you're not slick though. People know what you're trying to do. You are not slick because, Laverne doesn't have any other connections. The only connection that he has is with Ace. So, I feel like Laverne is trying to be slick and he wants people to start locking people down. So that way he's kind of like, it's nowhere else for anybody to go. And, he got Ace and, whatever. I just think he's strategizing. Strategizing is what I believe that Laverne is doing, with this. And the men aren't here for it. The men aren't here for it at all, and they're not trying to hear it at all. And so we get to Paul. And so when the men were going around the room talking about who they're not feeling, Paul says Joy. And so Paul says that he told Joy that, they could just be friends, or something, like he wasn't feeling Joy. Paul, see, you raggedy. And this is exactly why I never liked Paul. I can't stand Paul. Like, come on. How immature and how whack are you? Dude, she told you that it was nothing but platonic and a friendship. You take and you being the sucker you are and whack as you are, you take it and you turn it around and then you use it against her in the, in the room, in the men's lounge to get Joy put on a chopping block is what you did. I'm like, you're so whack for that. But you know what? I should have known... I should have known that Paul felt some type of way because in that date on the clip, Paul made the comment, I'm not jealous, that Clifton and Joy, have a connection or whatever, or something to that effect that he said. So that then and there already basically, was showing that Paul did. People say they don't got an issue with something when they do have an issue with something because there was no need for him to even make the comment or say it. But he really did have an issue with it. Obviously, that's why he threw Joy under the bus like that. I was not feeling that. I really hope that the next guy to go home is Paul. I really feel like Paul should have went home, honestly. Like, I don't know why he's, like, still there. But I don't know because, I don't know, some of the women are actually feeling him. So, I guess, whatever. You like it, I love it, I guess. But, yeah, once again, whatever. So then they send Demetrius once again on this chopping block date, which is interesting because I'm like, why does Demetrius keep getting this task? But anyway, so he goes on a date with Joy. Joy is surprised by the date. Joy even says during the date, like, do we have a connection? Like, you think we got a connection? Joy is not here for it. She's over it, okay? And it gets to the point in the date where Joy starts coming in real hot. Okay, I'm talking scorching hot because Joy was letting Demetrius have, and she was put on the table because she said, listen, I am tired of all of this. Like I know who I want and who I connected with and who I haven't connected with. Like, Joy is over it. You know, she's over it, and she let Demetrius know. And, you know, Demetrius, of course, ends up telling her that, you know, she is still ready to love, so she's not going home. Meanwhile, we have Clifton, who went on a date with Precious, which, poor Precious, she had no idea what that date was about. Like, she just had no idea. She thought that this was a real date. Like, she thought, I guess this was a date and an opportunity that, you know, one of the guys wanted to connect with her, is what she really thought. But poor Precious, because she was in for a rude awakening, because it was, in fact, the chopping block date for her to go home. So this week, Precious did get sent home, which I wasn't surprised. It was no strong connections for Precious. I don't know what happened. I mean, she had her connection with Paul. That went south. And after that, she really didn't have any more connections with anybody. And she did say on one of the side clips that, like, you know, Demetrius kind of like was the one who, you know, put that out there about the party girl and kind of gave them that image of her that in the end, I guess, started to kind of like, you know, be a negative in her favor. But I don't really know if that's the case. I think that they use that, but I don't know if, because in her conversations with people, that wasn't really coming up too much. Like, she didn't come off that way, but I don't know, because she did come off with, you know, at a lot of times she was coming off with a bit of sexual energy. But I mean, that can't be enough to get you sent home, because look at Carmen and Zakiyah. You know, they both are two women who exude a lot of sexual energy as well. So I don't know. I think for whatever reason, Carmen just wasn't any of their cup of tea. I think that's just kind of like what it was. Like, end of the day, that's what it was. Now, at the end of the episode, whoa, we have something that done went down, because Zakiyah does now not want to interact and have anything to do with Eric. What the hell did Eric do? What the hell happened? Like, I'm like, oh my goodness. I hate those little cliffhangers like that, because I'm really trying to like, what could Eric have done? So, I don't know. Because, I mean, listen. So, I can't wait to see and find out what it is that that Eric did, because it seems like it's the end of Eric and Zakiyah. So, I guess Eric, you know, I guess he gonna end up going for I guess he gonna go ahead and end up going for Carmen, I guess, because Eric wasn't connected with anybody else. You know, Zakiyah has some other connections, so she's good. But you know, I guess Zakiyah and Eric are done. Wow. So anyway, that's it for this last episode. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know, you know, who you guys think will be going home next. Of course, next week will be one of the men, since this week was one of the women. I'm thinking next week Tori and probably Paul would be in the bottom next week. Is what I'm thinking. So, we'll see. So until next time, toodles.